Did you know that tuples in Python can be sorted, sliced, and even nested? But there's a catch. You can't change the elements once they have been created. Sounds interesting? Stick around because today we are diving deep into tuple operations that will make your Python skills even sharper. In our last video, we covered introduction to tuples and we saw how to create them. We learned tuple indexing, the length function, tuple immutability, and concatenation in tuples. If you missed that, check the link in the description and on the right hand side top corner to catch up. Before we get started, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell icon so you never miss out on our Python tutorials. In today's video, we will explore sorting tuples, nested tuples, indexing, and slicing in tuples. We will learn how to use sum function, min function, and maximum function on tuples. Also, we will cover common tuple methods like count method and index. Unlike lists, tuples are immutable, so we can't sort them in place. However, we can sort them using the sorted function, which returns a new sorted list. So let's get started and welcome once again to Python for Everyone. Let's start with the first one. Let's say I have a variable num. I'll create a tuple which is 8, 3, 1, 6, and 2. Okay. Now I want to present this. The output I want it in a sorted fashion. So I cannot change the tuple. Okay. So what I will do is I will use the function sorted and let's see what happens. Okay. Sorted, no. That's the new variable and let's use it with our existing variable name num for the tuple. Let's print that. Oops. Okay, there we go. See, over here you can notice that we did get a sorted outcome, sorted result over here, but in a form of lists. As we know that for lists, the brackets are square brackets. Okay, so we created a new variable over here. We used this function on the existing variable for our tuple, and it gave us an automatic converted response to list. Okay, it's not a tuple. You can see that over there. What if I had another one, but with alphabets, with letters, not just numbers? For example, let's say I have banana over here. Okay, another one which will be apple, and cherry, and I want to present that into a sorted fashion. So what I will do, sorted alpha, a new variable again. I'll use the same method, same function. Okay, use the existing variable there. What do I want to change into sorted way? The existing variable for our tuple over here. Let's get that printed. Sorted alpha and oh, oops. Oh, okay, I know. There we go. See, again, a list format, but in a sorted fashion. Okay, apple comes first because A, B, and C. So it changed the position, the indexing of the elements and presented it in a list format. Now, let's say that I want to sort the elements in an existing tuple, but the output should also be in a tuple format instead of a list format like it has over here. How will I go about doing that? Let's create another variable. Okay, this is the one. Let's keep it short. And I'll create another one. Okay. Now, what we did earlier, we use the sorted function to the existing variable for tuple, which we will do over here again, okay? But what we will also do is we will typecast this into a tuple, okay? So the first of all, the inner bracket will open, which is for the sorted function, okay? And then when the bracket for tuple typecasting opens, that list that it would have converted it into will also be converted into a tuple, and that's what we will get as a result. Okay, let's try. There we go. You see the difference? Earlier we were getting it all into a list format, but now we're getting it into a tuple. I hope you remember that. Now let's work on nested tuples. See, we have worked on nested sets, we have worked on nested lists in my previous videos. Now we will work on nested tuples, basically a tuple inside a tuple. Okay, now how would I go about creating it? Nested, let's say tuple. This is my variable. Okay, I will see, this is a new one over here. Okay, comma separated with another nested tuple. Let's keep it simple. There we go. Okay, now let's say I wanted to print just this part of it as an indexing. We've done this in the previous video. I only want to print the first nested tuple, which will be this section, the highlighted section over here. Indexing works the same way. The index value for this nested tuple will be 0. There we go. Okay, now what if I wanted to print only this? I only wanted to print 2 over here. Okay, so basically accessing not just the nested tuple, but also an individual element inside that nested tuple. How will I do that? It's the same thing we have learned plenty of times in the past in my previous videos. The indexing works the same way. Okay, so the nested tuple, the first indexing will go for the nested tuple, which is 0 in this case, and then another square bracket. Okay, so the indexing for 2 over here will be 1. Indexing starts with 0, remember that. So index value for this one is 0. 2 is 1 and 3 is 2, the index values. I want to print 2. Okay, so index value goes here. There we go. Now next thing we will cover over here, it will be slicing in tuples. So we have done this with lists, we have done this with string data types, we've done this plenty of time, we've practiced several questions. That remains the same way. Slicing, basically we have, let's say we have about 10 elements in a tuple, and we just want, from third element to the sixth element. We just want to print that. We just want to work on that. We just want to view that. How will we take that slice out? Let's create a new variable over here. Okay, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, this is my tuple. Okay, and now I want to print from here to here. Okay, I don't want anything to do with 10. I don't want anything to do with 50. All I want is to print from second element to the fourth element. Okay, so I will go about doing this num. Okay, now again, just like indexing, slicing also works with square brackets. Remember that the index value of 20 will be 1. Okay, colon, and index value for 40 will be 3. But we know one thing, if we want to take a slice, we need to put an extra number. So we will put 4 over here. There we go. Okay. Now let's get started with some other functions like sum function, minimum function, maximum function in tuples. Python provides these functions to work with tuples containing numerical values, not alphabetical. So like for example over here, this tuple only contains numerical values. So these functions will work perfectly. Okay, let's try again. Let's say this is my tuple. I'm just going to copy and paste it here. Okay. Okay, this is my tuple, and let's say I wanted to figure out the sum of all the numbers. Okay, right now looking at this, I can calculate that it will be 60. 10 plus 20 plus 30, that'll be 10 plus 20, 30 plus 30, 60. Okay, but let's say I will use, if you can't see all the values, if you can't manually um, calculate everything, you can use this particular function in order to figure it out. There we go. This is how you use the sum function brackets, okay, and inside will be the variable where you want that function to apply. Okay, let's say that I have another variable, another tuple that I'm working on. Let's say 5, 1, 9 and 3. This is the one. Okay, now let's figure out which one is the minimum number in that tuple. So again, the function, and where do I want to apply that? I want to apply that to the variable b. Okay, that's the tuple we're working on. Let's say I also want to find out the maximum number, maximum element in that tuple. I will use the same thing. Maximum function in brackets, the same variable b. There you go. So first it executed this command, which is for minimum. Minimum of what? B variable, whatever elements are in B variable, it gave me the output as 1, being the smallest number in that tuple. Okay, maximum, it did the same thing. The largest number in this tuple is 9. So that's why we have 9 over here. All right, now let's get to methods in tuples. The most common ones are count and index. Those are the two methods that are usually used with tuples. Okay, let's start with that. It basically counts the kind of element, how many number of times is it present in a tuple. That's what it does. Okay. Oh, oops. Sorry. Let's say I have variable colors. Okay. Let's create one. Red. Okay. Blue. Let's put red again. Okay. Black. Green. Okay. I want to count how many times the string red is inside it. So print function, what will I do is, the first thing that will go is the name of the variable where you want this method to apply. That variable is colors. This is where we want that method to be applied. Dot count. And what do we want to count in that variable? We want to count the element red. 2. So it went over here 1 and then the second time. So the number of times red is present in this variable is 2. Let me save all this. Okay, now let's move on to the next method, which is index method. Oh, there we go. Okay, now index, for example, okay, you know what, let's keep it exactly the same. This works also with numerical values. Okay, by the way, the count method. Okay, now let's say that I wanted to figure out see, I have a tuple which has like thousands of elements inside it, and maybe hundreds of nested tuples inside it. So I can't go around checking it all manually. All right, I want to work on some slicing or some indexing, whatever. And I want to figure out what is the index value for the element black. Okay, so looking at this right now, the index value is 3. Let's see if it comes up with the same result. Okay, print. The first thing that goes is the name of the variable where we want the method to be applied. Then index, and what for what exactly are we looking the index for? Black. There you go. That's our output. Correct one. Now, for this would be all for our video today. But now let's move on to the questions that I gave you all to practice on in our last video. Okay, let's start with the first one. Create a tuple with 5 elements and print its length. Should be rather easy. Okay, this is my tuple. 5 elements. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, we already know 5 elements mean the length will be 5. But this is how you go around doing it. Okay. All right. Now create a tuple and access its first and last element. So first element, obviously, the index value for that will be 0. Okay. And the last element, the index value will be -1, as we have practiced several times. Okay. Let's still go around doing that. A index value 0. This is for the first element. Okay, now I want to also print the index, the last element of this tuple. So the index value will go about -1. Okay, okay, there we go. The first value is 10 and the last value is 50, and this is what we have. All right, so create 2 tuples and concatenate them into a third tuple. So let's say that I have the same one. Okay, and let's create another one. Okay, let's say I'll create 11, 21, 31, oh sorry, 41, 51. This is my second tuple. And how will I go about concatenating it? I will have to create a third variable. C is equal to A plus B. Okay, now let's print C. There you go. See, in a format of a tuple, and it added everything at the end. Okay, so first 5 elements are from the first tuple over here. Okay, and the last 5 elements are from the tuple which we created here with the variable b. And the next question, try modifying an element inside a tuple, see what happens. Okay, we already know that tuples are immutable. That's for a fact. Okay, tuple does not support item assignment. Once a tuple has been created, you cannot change that. That is the reason we had to create a third variable over here in order to concatenate 2 existing tuples. Okay, you cannot make changes inside a tuple once it has been created. But let's see what kind of error does that does that give us. I think it will be a type error. The tuple object does not take assignment of something like that. Okay, let's create a variable over here. 2, 3. Let's keep it simple. In a list, what we are trying to do over here, in a list, it will work. Let's say I want to add number 10. Okay, but at the very beginning. So the first object should be 10. Tuple object does not support item assignment. That's how it goes. All right, now let's move on to the questions for this video. All right. First question. Create a tuple with 6, let's say, numbers. Okay, and sort them. Okay, see what happens. All right, see, you don't have to, understand, you don't have to learn everything in in one time. You will have questions, you will have doubts, you need not worry. Just, drop a comment. I will try and repeat whatever, the topic that you have facing difficulties with, or if you have questions, I will try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Okay, for now, first question, and let's move on to the second one. Create a nested tuple and access an inner element of that nested tuple. Okay. All right. Next one. Use slicing to extract the last three elements from a tuple. Okay. Remember how indexing works. All right. And how slicing works, what you need to put in the beginning, then colon, and what you need to put at the end. Okay, now find the sum, min, and max of a tuple containing numbers. Okay, next question. Oops. Next question. Use the count method. Okay, this is a method. Remember, it is not a function. To check how many times a value appears in a tuple. Okay, these are your questions that I need you to practice. I I really hope you will be able to understand those. Use, okay. There we go. All right, in the next video, we will introduce dictionaries. I mean, I gave you a slight hint about dictionaries in one of my previous videos, talking about different kind of data structures in Python. But we will get into a little bit of details, okay? Dictionaries, which is a powerful data structure in Python and lets you store key value pairs, okay? So if you found this tutorial helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment below. See you in the next one. Bye bye.